Hey everyone, today we're diving into something deep. Most of the time, what we refer to as a relationship is really just an interaction between two mental images. You have a perception of me in your mind, shaped by your past experiences, emotions, and assumptions. Likewise, I hold an image of you that has formed in the same way. But what actually happens? These two images engage with one another. Not you and me as we truly are, but our projections of each other. A genuine relationship only exists when we see one another without these mental filters, when we look directly, free from the distortions of past wounds, expectations, or illusions. Yet, our minds have a tendency to construct images, don't they? When relationships are built only upon these projections, they lack true connection, reducing interactions to a mechanical exchange of concepts. To genuinely connect with someone, we must discard these projections and become fully present. Forget who they were before, forget the pain they caused or the joy they once brought. Only in that state can a real relationship take shape. For many of us, relationships come with dependence, whether financial, emotional, or both. And where there is dependence, there is fear. Fear of loss, fear of change, fear of solitude. This fear breeds possessiveness, mistrust, and frustration. Economic dependence can be managed through structured systems, but psychological dependence is more complex. It stems from our deep-seated desire for security, pleasure, and fulfillment. When we attach ourselves to someone, we feel more alive, more complete. But with that attachment comes the fear of losing them. This fear makes us cling, manipulate, and seek control. So the question is, can we love without attachment? Can we be in relationships without fear, without the need to possess? If we constantly rely on others, society, or external circumstances to bring us happiness, we become prisoners of those dependencies. We resist change, despite knowing that life itself is ever-changing. We may understand this logically, but emotionally we still cling, trapped between our desire for stability and the unpredictable nature of life. Can we break free from this internal conflict? We cannot live without relationships, yet we fill them with attachment and possessiveness, making them a source of pain. But must love always come with ownership? The answer is not found in escapism, ideologies, or belief systems. It lies in understanding, clearly recognizing how dependence and possession create suffering. When we truly comprehend the nature of attachment, we start seeing relationships differently. And when we transform how we relate to one another, we also transform society, because society is merely a reflection of our collective relationships. The world as we know it wasn't crafted by nature but by human relationships passed down through generations. We accept it as it is because it aligns with our greed, our possessiveness, and our illusions. But illusions can never bring true unity or peace. Even enforced economic unity through laws cannot eliminate conflict. As long as we fail to understand the essence of our relationships, we cannot build a peaceful world. If our connections with others are based on possession, fear, and insecurity, then conflict is unavoidable. Real change does not arise from external systems but from within, through deeply understanding our own nature. When we begin to see how our possessiveness, fear, and violence shape our relationships, we stop projecting those traits onto the world, and in that realization, true freedom begins. The root of conflict in relationships is not the other person. It is our own craving for security, our fear of change, and our need for control. We are so focused on how others behave, but do we ever truly examine ourselves? If we could understand at the deepest level why we react the way we do, why we feel pain, and why we seek validation, then our relationships would transform. Conflict isn't just about external struggles, it stems from our inner thoughts and emotions. We can only live harmoniously with others when we are at peace within ourselves. And true understanding does not come from isolation but from profound awareness of how our minds operate. Life is relationship. Life is nothing but the interplay between ourselves and people, objects, and ideas. If we don't engage with life fully, if we bring illusions into our relationships, conflict is inevitable. Relationships are a mirror. They don't just reflect others, they reveal who we are. Without relationships, what are we? Just isolated concepts drifting within our own minds. To exist is to relate. If we don't understand how to relate, then we don't truly exist in a meaningful way. And when relationships lack understanding, conflict arises both within and around us. You won't find happiness in books, philosophies, or gurus. You find it by understanding yourself through relationships. Every interaction, every conversation is a mirror reflecting your own mind. Observe, not with forced analysis, but as though looking into a mirror. Watch how you speak, how you react, how your thoughts shape your behavior. In that quiet observation, without judgment, you begin to uncover something beyond knowledge, something real, something alive. And that is where happiness begins. To have a real relationship, we must dismantle the mental mechanism that constantly fabricates images of others. It's not enough to shatter one illusion, because the mind will simply construct another. The real question is, can we stop this cycle entirely? Can we perceive reality clearly without filtering it through memory and expectation? How do we create mental images of others? Through memories, reactions, and past experiences. If someone flatters you, you label them as kind. If someone hurts you, you see them as cruel. Over time, these perceptions solidify and we mistake them for reality. But images are lifeless. They do not represent the living, breathing individuals in front of us. When we recognize that thought itself fuels this illusion, we begin to see differently. But the solution is not to stop thinking. Thought is necessary for daily life. The key is to think without forming rigid images. If we see each other only through the lens of opinions, how can we ever have a genuine relationship? True connection can only happen when we free ourselves from mental projections and meet each other as we truly are, in the present moment. Why do we feel emotional pain? Because we have built an image of ourselves, an idea of who we believe we are. When someone challenges that image, we feel wounded. But what if there were no false image to defend? What if we saw ourselves clearly, without illusion? If you are dishonest and someone calls you a liar, do you feel hurt? No, because it is simply the truth. Pain arises only when we cling to an idea of ourselves that we wish were true. To love is to relate without possession, to be free is to see without illusion, and to truly live is to embrace life without fear.